Welcome to part 2 of a 3-part series. Previously, I'd spoken about the nature of change in Disney parks. I also managed to tank the video by re-uploading it. Twice. But there was an error so egregious that I just couldn't live with it, so I chose to hoist myself with my own petard. 150 views. Integrity can be painful. In any case, my upcoming video will address the necessities of corporate profits in the theme park space, but today I'm picking up a bit of a hot potato, speaking of defense of IP in Disney parks generally and the Magic Kingdom specifically. Try to be open-minded. Of late, I've been thinking of a word, maybe you've heard it. Specious. In brief, it means an idea that seems to be true on the surface, but falls apart under a little scrutiny. I'm not immune to it. Most recently, as you may have guessed, I've been reconsidering my position on IP in Disney parks. Like many, my knee-jerk reaction was negative. It's bad, it's dumb, it's lazy, and it betrays a lack of creativity. Well, maybe. With all the changes that have happened and continue to happen in the Iger era, the natural reaction to the removal or replacement of our nostalgic roots is to reject it wholesale and then manufacture a justification for our feelings. That's not meant to be offensive, we all do it. I may very well be the chiefest of sinners when it comes to this particular offense. Sometimes it's justified, but more often than we think, we get it wrong. And that's where our conversation about IP needs to start. I'm not saying that you, the viewer, are wrong, I'm just asking you to consider your position for a moment. When the IP bad bandwagon rolled through town, I was pretty eager to jump on it. I joined the chorus of "It's dumb and lazy." I was the tenor, maybe you heard me. But even as I lent my emotion and voice to the cause, my logic withheld itself. I didn't think too deeply about it until I was walking past an almost opening day attraction and realized it's all IP. Loosely defined, IP, which just stands for intellectual property, is simply the work product of human imagination. However, when we talk about Disney, the distinction is made between studio IP and park IP, with the former generally treated as if it's less worthy of inclusion in the parks than the latter, because reasons. That's what's called a distinction without a difference. Let's be fair, IP is IP. Whether it originates in the entertainment division or the parks division, it's all the product of human imagination. And often the line between the two is very blurry. Let's look at the opening day attractions at Magic Kingdom, for example. Note to the audience, some of these attractions did not open on opening day for various reasons, but were certainly intended to do so. Let's start with the most obvious, Cinderella's Castle. It's the first thing most people see when they walk into the park, and it's movie IP. Well, how about the rides? Peter Pan's Flight, for instance. Movie IP. Snow White? Movie IP. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Movie IP. Cinderella's Golden Carousel, The Mad Tea Party, Swiss Family Treehouse, all movie IP. But just because a concept isn't directly linked to some form of media like movies, television, or books, it's still IP. Even It's a Small World was originally created for the 1964 World's Fair, making it, too, IP that is extrinsic to the park. Doubly so as it originally opened in Disneyland. The same is true of Carousel of Progress. All of Presidents was based on Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which was also created for the World's Fair. More non-Magic Kingdom IP. Jungle Cruise, more recycled Disneyland IP. So were Tropical Serenade, Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, Tomorrowland Speedway, the Magic Skyway, and Haunted Mansion. Frontierland Shooting Arcade doesn't even bear mentioning, as every roadside theme park and traveling fair has a shooting gallery. The only Magic Kingdom opening attraction I can think of that was completely unique to Orlando was the Country Bears Jamboree, and even that was created for a ski resort that didn't happen. Not for Magic Kingdom. No, I'm not counting the swan boats, and neither should you. Not convinced? Let's go back 2 decades and across the country for opening month at Disneyland. Sleeping Beauty Castle? Movie IP. Mark Twain Riverboat and King Arthur Carousel? Literary IP. Davy Crockett's Frontier Museum? Television IP. Mad Tea Party, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Peter Pan's Flight, or Snow White's Adventure, again, all movie IP. The fact of the matter is that neither park opened with a single attraction that can be said to be entirely original to the parks. What about Pirates? Nope, that didn't show up until 1967. Haunted Mansion, 1969. The Matterhorn, Submarine Voyage, both 1959. Those attractions may have been completely original in Anaheim, but in Orlando, they're just more borrowed IP. What about the first big addition to Orlando? Nope, even Space Mountain was originally intended to open in Disneyland, but it was opened first in Florida due to space restrictions in Anaheim. Turns out that Magic Kingdom wasn't even the first park to be called Magic Kingdom. That honor goes to, surprise, surprise, Disneyland. In fact, the very first absolutely original non-IP attraction with no predecessor that originated in Disney World was absolutely nothing. To this day, Magic Kingdom still has not one purely original attraction. If you were wondering which ride triggered this revelation, it was Peter Pan's Flight. I was ruminating on the state of the parks and thinking, why can't they do anything original anymore? You know, like, wait a minute. That's when my logic fell apart. With just a modicum of deeper consideration, I realized that even the latter additions to the park aren't original. Splash Mountain, movie IP. Big Thunder, Anaheim IP. Dumbo, Aladdin, and Tron, do I even need to say it? There's not one single attraction in the Magic Kingdom that is not literary, television, movie, or Disneyland IP, or that did not originate as an idea intended for another location. Nothing. From Main Street to the depths of New Fantasyland, with the singular exception of the boat transportation system, literally everything in the Magic Kingdom is derivative. If you need a moment to process that feeling, feel free to pause the video and go make yourself a drink. The question isn't whether we include IP in the parks. By definition, anything and everything in the parks is IP. The problem we have is twofold. Whether the IP in question is worthy to be included in the park, and can it be done to a superlative level? What do we need to ask of IP to know if it's park worthy? Will it stand the test of time? Does it have cultural value? Can it entertain all ages? Can we execute it in a way that does justice to the material? Can we do it in a way that respects our guest nostalgia? Answer all of those questions in the affirmative, and success is all but guaranteed. Is it lazy is a fair question, but it shouldn't be limited to external IP. It should be asked of all projects. They have to hit on every level, and nothing I can think of since Frozen Ever After ticks every box. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway might come close, but honestly, that varies with my mood. Just take a look at Moana, Journey of Water, Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, and Tron Light Cycle Run. Yes, I know I hit on those three quite often, but they're good examples. Guardians of the Galaxy as a coaster is kind of brilliant, but it's going to age very poorly. Tron, same thing. But of those three, only Moana has staying power, cultural relevance, and can entertain all ages. But in Moana's case, it really is lazy. And it's poorly executed to boot. Cars Land, no matter how well it's done, will not have staying power and disrespects both the guests' memories and the park's heritage. Yes, we have to pick extrinsic IP carefully, but there's nothing wrong with it per se. And when we do use IP that is external to the park, the execution has to be spot on. As an aside, let me provide an example of a park original concept that has not been used anywhere else, but for which the execution was flawless. Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood. Ready for the concept? A family steel coaster with no inversions and minimal airtime. The ride vehicles are Jeeps. You're being chased by a bear. The end. It has incredible reviews and is massively popular. It is simplicity done flawlessly. Ideas, original or borrowed, don't have to be genre defining. They just have to be good and executed well. That's it. Disney from the top down should be embarrassed by such a loss, especially considering that half of the new rides that are beating them are being designed by talent they let go or couldn't hold on to. And that leads me to the next point. While it's true that IP can be both a good fit for a park and be executed in the absolute worst way possible, I'm thinking it, but I'm not going to say it, It is equally true that inclusion of IP, even if it hits on every level, can still be ham-fisted and out of place, like Cars Land. Conversely, can a concept that is original to the parks be terrible? Of course. But we have to look outside of Disney for an example. All of the original park content originated in Disneyland, and everything that originated in Disneyland was a banger, full stop. Main Street USA, Pirates, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, The Tiki Room, Submarine Voyage, not one failure among the bunch. So that raises the question, can an original concept be ruined by injection of external IP? Let's ask Iago and Zazu about that one. How about this? Can an original park concept become IP outside of the parks? Absolutely. Pirates of the Caribbean is the most successful example, but they've also tried it with Country Bears and Haunted Mansion with varying results. So what do we make of this mixed bag? At worst, external IP should be a caution flag. Are we leaning too heavily on the work of others and trying to make it our own? Does it fit? Is it even needed? Do we just need fresh eyes, or should we just start over? These are the questions that need to be asked, but seem to be, at best, unanswered, or at worst, answered and ignored. But as with change, IP in the parks is not a bad thing. It's all we've got. Intentions, however, count for nothing. It's the execution that matters. And to be honest with both you and myself, blanket blaming of IP for failures of imagination, leadership, creativity, and vision is just as lazy as leaning on the IP itself. So if you made it this far and you can forgive my previous poor judgment, please let me know by clicking the like, subscribe, and all notification buttons. And let me know below in the comments. What IP would you like to see come to the parks? What would you like to see go out of the parks? What original concepts should be revisited? My vote's for Beastly Kingdom, but what do I know? See you soon.